In this video, we are pleased to present to you the work of Mr. James D. Russell of Sperryville, Virginia. A gentleman now in his 80s, Mr. Russell has made it his life's work to tell the story of his great-grandmother, Caroline Terry, a woman born into slavery in Rappahannock County, Virginia. Through Mr. Russell's research and writing, he has uncovered and brought to life not only the story of Sister Caroline's struggles and experiences, but has also recovered the history of the once thriving Black community in Sperryville, Virginia, and nearby. Mr. Russell's efforts show that family history is indeed community history, and that one person can bring these stories to light.
Caroline Terry was born in Culpeper County, and in 1833, Culpeper County, Rappahannock County, there was one continuous area. Did she have any relatives? Yes, she did. There was a sister who was traded to, I believe, some plantation owners near what is called the Frank Thornton Valley, the FT Valley. In 1812, Frank Thornton, a very large landowner, owned a number of slaves. Sister Caroline's family was, of course, split up and taken apart as other slave families experienced. We have in our modern day what we call a community activist. Sister Caroline was a plantation activist in that any tidbits of information about the upcoming freedom, the upcoming armies as they were clashed, then they would all gather at Sister Caroline's cabin at night, douse all the lights, take the curtains and fasten them so at the windows that not a bit of light could escape. And then they discussed over what they had heard, that there was a great battle raging and things going to be different. On an occasion, they laid at the house, felt that Caroline was working too slow, she had more tasks to do, and in their exasperation and disgust as Sister Caroline's slow progress, while she slapped Caroline on her face, resigning her. Sister Caroline was doing what she could do, and she was just so filled up with all the indignities, all the hurt, the harm, and the abuse that she had endured over the years. She retaliated. She slapped the lady back. Here it was. This was the most, it was a plantation violation that should never happen. Sister Caroline took off running, ran to where there's a river that crossed through the plantation and tried to get away. But she did not, because the overseer was alerted of Sister Caroline's act of defiance, and she was apprehended, brought back to the compound, placed in the compound overnight, and then the next day, where all the former slaves could gather and see, she was stripped to the waist, placed over a barrel, her hands were bound, her ankles were bound, and she was given so many lashes for running away, so many lashes for having the gall to strike a member of the plantation hierarchy that should never have been. She bled, she cried, she screamed. Who's to hear her? Nothing but only the echoes. That she seemed to remember that. She seemed to that seemed a burning memory because here she was working at a pace, whether it's fast or slow, it's going to be a lifetime job. It's going to be a lifetime. June the 9th, 1863, that was the Battle of Brandy Station, in which, as we read and we study, had the highest casualties. That was the most tremendous and the largest of the cavalry engagements of the Civil War at Brandy Station at that time. The casualties were of such magnitude that the slaves were pressed into a burial detail. Caroline, along with a number of other slaves, was also a member of the burial detail, as well as slaves from Spotsylvania County, Culpeper County, and I believe Orange County. Now, there's a revolver, a cavalryman's pistol, that Caroline came upon, and being a very polite person, she said, "Sir, I assume that you will not be needing this any longer." Of course he wasn't going to be needing any longer. He was deceased, he was gone. Caroline kept this revolver for 78 years. The wisdom of that still exists today. Sister Caroline, of course, was a former slave. She also attended the Baptist Church, the Sperryville Baptist Church. And in 1874, she and 12 other former slaves met at Sister Caroline's house, and out of that organization was a nucleus of what we call now, what I'm happy to be a member of, the Hopewell Baptist Church. It was something that was a growth of the desire of those 12 former slaves to have a church of their own. They were comfortable there, of course, sitting up in the gallery, listening to the instructions, the admonishments of the white minister. But what if they had a church of their own? This was the idea that they tossed around, and as a result, they met at the home of Caroline Terry, these 12 former slaves, in 1874. And out of that meeting and subsequent meetings was born Hopewell Baptist Church. Despite the humble beginnings of Sister Caroline as a slave girl on the plantation, deprived of all the amenities of just being a human being, emerged to become one of a shining example of a person in the community life. I forever remember, and I feel that I'm blessed with longevity in that I have been able to touch what I call a bit of history in that I heard this firsthand, not writing in imagination, but I heard it face to face from a person who had endured such